Hi there, I'm Tristan Reyes, and this is Gaming Instincts. Monster Hunter World recently came out, and we at Gaming Instincts bet that many veteran hunters and probably new players will want to tackle these monsters head-on with their high-tier gear even after fighting the Beatotus. Well, they'd be wrong, as the monsters in Iceborne continue to be both dangerous and crafty. That's something to expect when the Hoarfrost Reach introduces players to master rank battles throughout the new campaign. After exploring deeper into the Reach with your handler, the duo encounters a wall that is impossible to get through. Well, it is impossible until the Banbaro decides to break it down. After showing off its sheer strength, the large monster decides to fight you head-on with its pure brute strength and the environment itself. Here's what to expect. The Banbaro is big, imposing, and will hit you with its strongest attacks, usually involving a giant snowball or even the trees around you. Of course, these hits will pack quite a punch as you're getting hit with a fully solid snowball and trees. So bring some highly protective armor and try to max out your defense for this fight. Though when it's not using the trees, he can be slow and vulnerable as he's a really huge creature, so you can get some hits in easier than the Beatotus. Here are the elements and ailments. It's an ice type creature, so it will give the hunter ice blight during the few attacks it does with the snow boulders it creates. Though if you damage the creature's horns, the environmental attacks will be hindered a bit, but it isn't as easy as it's a massive creature and its head is pretty high up. As an ice-type creature, you can expect fire to do a decent amount to the monster, as it has a 2-star weakness to fire. If you don't have the fire weapon, then you can make that up with a thunder-type weapon in which the Banbaro has a 1-star weakness. Also as a brute wyvern, and a very unique one at that, the creature is weakest to dragon-type attacks with a 3-star weakness. So if you have a weapon left over from fighting the Elder Dragons, then use it. As an ice-type creature, it is clearly expected to be resistant to both ice and water. So like usual, if you favor those elements, just use a weapon with no element at all. For any ailment weaknesses, it is generally vulnerable to poison, sleep, and paralysis. Though it is especially weak to stun with a 3-star effectiveness if you decide to bash in his head with a hammer. If you're a fan of explosives, well, he can be damaged especially by those as well, meaning that blasting his horns off may be a more viable option along with his head. If anything, buff your attack and defense at the canteen in order to get the most out of your attacks. While you're at it, bring some Mega Edema drugs and Mega Armor Skin potions to make yourself even beefier, especially since its physical damage is pretty frighteningly strong. You can expect to bring your typical items like 10 Mega Potions for health and 10 regular potions with 10 honeys to make more Mega Potions. You'll also be able to grab a few herbs and honeys during the fight, so don't worry too much. Additionally, bring some well done steaks along with both max and hopefully ancient potions if you happen to go down and lose your buffs. There aren't many things that you can really bring to hinder it, but you can bring flash pods so the Banbaro can't see where it's going when it decides to bring a boulder to the fight. Of course, bring no berries to get rid of ice blight when the Banbaro finally uses its boulder. Then you'll need to bring hot drinks to survive the cold. Luckily, peppers can be found during your time here. If you want to make the fight slightly easier for yourself, bring some traps and tranquilizers to hopefully capture it. It's generally easier to capture creatures, and you don't have to deal with the rage attacks for when the Banbaro is on its last leg. Also, the thing is so huge, it will probably randomly step in your traps for no reason. The Banbaro is really huge and really strong. It'll always show off its strength during most of its attacks. Since it is a horned creature, it'll generally ram towards you, with or without a boulder. If you want to really weaken him, try to break his legs so that many of his physical attacks become slower, and breaking its head and horn will both do a lot of damage, and weaken its ramming capabilities. The best way to really get at its head and legs is to mount it. It's so big and vulnerable in this case, and there's several places where you can slide down and jump on its back. Its favorite attacks always involve the ice boulder it creates. It will attempt to run you over with the rock up to around 4 times, and it will slam the boulder into the ground, dealing ice blight to you. It can also create a boulder to just hold onto it and simply slam it to the ground if you're close enough, also dealing ice blight. Fortunately, after doing this devastating attack, its head will rear downward in order for you to properly attack its head and horns. Also, it will do the same ramming technique in a foresty area. As having a tree in its horns, it has a wide range and you'll have to distance yourself away when it's doing this, though it will get dazed afterwards just like using the boulder, so just be careful. If you want to get more damage in between its attacks, aim at its head and try to use your clutch claw to weaken it. It's pretty easy to clutch claw this thing, at least when you're attacking from the side, though it will opt to ram you pretty hard from the front. It also has a side slam if you're attacking from that angle, so be very careful if you can't dodge it. Near the end of its life, it will start to be dazed and weakly walk around. This is a great chance to set up a trap to try to capture it, though if you're like me and don't have any traps, some bomb barrels will do, if it actually decides to sleep. If you don't have these items, get ready to take on the barrage of attacks and, poke it to death. The Banbaro may not be as elusive or defensive as the creatures you fought before, but it clearly has the physical attacks to back that up. Though after dealing with all the ice balls and big rams that you'll surely be taking, you'll rise to the top and topple the Banbaro. Also, it has some pretty cool looking armor, and I'm sure hunters will be very happy with that. This has been Gaming Instincts, and I'll see you soon. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a like, subscribe if you want, and make sure to check out our website over at gaminginstincts.com for more gaming content from an unbiased perspective.